I've been wanting to make this video for like 2 weeks now. Right after the Penguins lost in that Game 7, I wanted this to be my next video, but a few things came up. They actually signed Brian Rust. Other topics just kind of pushed this idea to the side, but I still needed to make this video for the Penguins fans out there. After yet another first round exit, I feel like the fan base has kind of forgotten what the generation has been about, all the success we've seen. So I'm going to just talk about that a bit in this video. And at the same time, I'm not going to miss a free opportunity to make fun of the Leafs. But for real though, Penguins fans, imagine we were the Leafs right now. Just look at the last 5 years. We've had the exact same results as them. Just first round exit, all these first round exits, and the Leafs have nothing to show for it. Their last series win was almost 2 decades ago. So you could just imagine how they feel after every year where they lose in the first round again and again, because they don't even have not even an inch of what the Penguins have done over the last almost 2 decades. The Toronto Maple Leafs have put together some very good teams. I know we like to make fun of them, but they have a team and they just can't get past the first round. A lot of it has been their own fault, some choking here and there, but just look at this year, for example. In my opinion, I think the Leafs had the team to go all the way this year. Look what happens. They lose 1-goal game in a Game 7 to the defending back-to-back champs who are still in it, trying to get their 3rd straight Stanley Cup. The point is, so much needs to go your way to win a Stanley Cup. It's not just about being a good team or the best team. Obviously, you need to be good. You need to be healthy. You need to be hot at the right time. You need to get the bounces. That luck needs to be on your side. It's like you need 7 or 8 things at the same time going for you just to hope you win a championship. Not guaranteed, just to hope you get close. Let's move on and let's take a look at the Edmonton Oilers, who drafted Connor McDavid, who is the best player of the next generation, up there with what Crosby's done in his generation. He has potential to go down as a top 5 player of all time when it's all said and done. And look at that. He just this year, 7 or 8 years later, finally gets to his first 3rd round appearance. Obviously, most of it is management's fault, but still, it's all part of it. You get this generational talent player, and you have Draisaitl to back him up, similar to the Crosby-Malkin scenario the Penguins had. And within the first couple of years, the Penguins were able to get that Stanley Cup. Meanwhile, the Oilers are still looking, and they just now are competitive in the playoffs. These are all the new teams that just got these players, and failing. Let's take a look at the team that was our rivals for all these years, the Washington Capitals. They did everything in their power for about a decade plus to put the best possible team out there to win you multiple championships. If they never won the cup in 2018, that whole Ovechkin era would have had such a dark cloud over it. Like, they should have had a dynasty, and imagine no cups at all. They have the 1 cup, so you can't really be mad at it. But like I mentioned, they should have Blackhawks, Penguins, Kings type of championships right now. In some of those years where they've lost in the second round, they've put out the best teams that I've seen, better than the Penguins, better than the Hawks, better than the Kings, and they just could never get past that obstacle in their way, which was the second round. Could never beat the Penguins, could never beat the Rangers, just always had something in their way. Despite everything being right for them, right? Team was there, goaltending was there, defense was there, you had Ovechkin, depth, offense. They finally got that puck luck in 2018. You could tell it was their year. And when they beat us, the Penguins, in that second round, I knew no one was going to stop them. They just needed to get over that mental hurdle of losing in that second round. It just goes back to the theme of the video, how difficult it is to win that 1 championship. And 1 should be enough for any franchise. The fact that we have 3 in this era, we're so blessed. Like, for a second, take a look at the whole Ovechkin era, almost 2 decades worth. It's been a bunch of disappointments, a bunch of failure. Even after that cup run, they've done nothing. I think they've only had 1 Eastern Conference final appearance, and it was the year they went all the way. But it doesn't matter. All you needed was the 1, and they got it. And that 1 championship erases decades of just failure and disappointing seasons. Go ahead and ask a Capitals fan if he cares about these failures that he's seen, these recent first-round exits or all those second-round exits. I'm going to bet that he's going to tell you, I don't care, I got to see my team win 1. And in my opinion, as an outsider, right, because I'm not a Capitals fan, they should definitely have at least more than 1. I think they should be where the Penguins are right now and have at least 3, maybe 4 championships. That's how good of teams they had. Instead of a potential dynasty, all they have is 1. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually very good for them that they were able to get that 1. Just goes to show you how hard it is to win in this league. And a team that wish they had the 1 that the Capitals do is the San Jose Sharks, who is a whole decade plus of disappointment after disappointment. Exactly what the Capitals had, but they didn't get their one. Year after year, the Sharks are putting out great teams and they have nothing to show for it. You know, we're saying how the Capitals have only one and they're happy with it. Sharks have nothing. Let me tell you what they would do to win just one. Now, Penguins fans, imagine our era ended with nothing. No cups, because it was more than possible. Imagine we finished the Crosby, Malkin, Letang era with nothing to show for it. Imagine that feeling we all had to the Game 7 loss to the Rangers. Now, imagine we had 0 cups to show for it, and that was year 16 of failing. Oh my God, we would have went crazy. Another team who could have and should have had a dynasty over the last decade was the Boston Bruins. Now, they got their one just like the Capitals, but I'm seeing a lot of failure there, a failed dynasty. That's almost a tougher pill to swallow than what the Capitals had. The Capitals won their cup almost towards the end of the Ovechkin era, but it was a lot of disappointments in the beginning. But it all makes up for it because it leads to that one big 2018 cup that they got. Whereas the Bruins got their cup early on in the Bergeron Marchand era, and it was just a bunch of disappointments to follow. They did a lot of right things. They had the goaltending, they had the blue line, they had the elite two-way first-line center. They had depth. They were big, you know, gritty. They could play any game you wanted. If I was a Bruins fan, of course, the one cup is great, but I would look at the era as a whole and it would leave a bitter taste in my mouth knowing what could have been. From all the teams I've mentioned, the Penguins and Bruins are the most identical because they've had similar regular seasons, similar long playoff runs. The only difference between the two teams is that the Penguins were able to win their 16th playoff win in those runs, whereas the Bruins just fell a game or two short. And that's the difference between 3 cups, great era, versus 1 cup, still good, but could have been the same thing as the Penguins. So we're talking about all these other teams, but now to end the video, I will be talking directly to the Penguins fans about the Penguins. Just look how hard it is to win a championship from all the teams I've mentioned in this video, and there's about 100 more in the history of the game. One championship is incredibly hard. The Penguins were able to do it 3 times in less than 10 years, and 2 of them were back-to-back. Like, just think of that for a second, how difficult it is to do that. The reason why the Penguins lost versus the Rangers was they didn't have their starting goalie, and Crosby goes down in Game 5. I'm willing to bet the Penguins close that series out if Crosby doesn't go out in the Game 5. So a whole year is just wasted because of those 2 things. Now imagine, the Penguins were able to win back-to-back cups with those things happening almost all the time. Like, they were able to overcome it. So Penguins fans, please be grateful because only one other team has done what we've done in this era, and that's the Blackhawks. And even them have done nothing in the last couple of years, where the Penguins are at least there. First round exits, but they're contending, right? For the week that they're in the playoffs, they're there. We feel like they can go all the way. And it's okay to shit on the team if they're not playing well or not making the right moves or losing in the playoffs constantly. It's okay because it's the fan in us that will always do it. But just keep in the back of your mind, you know, all the success we've seen in this era that many teams would pray would get. But anyways, that's it for me. That's it for the video. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.